Most who approached the gates of the obsidian citadel trembled. Even nobles bowed, shaking, afraid to meet the gaze of the vampire king. But that night, under the deep sapphire sky, while ravens perched like shadows along the towering black spires, a little girl, no taller than the height of a royal cane, walked straight to the massive fortress doors. Her coat was too thin for the icy wind. Her small boots were worn. Her breath shivered with each exhale. Yet, her eyes held something stronger than fear, determination, and love. She raised one tiny hand and knocked once, twice taps. The kind a timid child might give a neighbor, not a supernatural ruler feared across kingdoms. Inside, silence collapsed. Then the ancient doors opened. Scene 1. The little girl arrives at guard, pale, fanged, armored in midnight steel, stared down at her. "Child," he muttered. "Who?" She lifted her chin. "My name is Alara Solon. I'm here for my mother's shift." Her voice wavered, but she forced the words out anyway. "My mommy is sick. She can't walk today. But she said if she misses another day, we'll lose our home. So, I came." The guard blinked, confused, unsettled. Children didn't speak to immortals like that. Humans never volunteered. To enter this place, he swallowed. No one replaces staff without authorization, he began sternly. But Ilara wasn't listening. She stepped past him, dragging behind her a satchel almost half her size filled with laundry soap, bandages, and herbs. Exactly what her mother needed for work. Exactly what a 6-year-old shouldn't have to carry. Scene TWO, the throne room encounter in the heart of the castle. Beneath chandeliers made of bone and violet flame, sat King Alaric Varen, the last pureblood vampire king, ruler of Nightreach, feared for a century. His presence commanded silence. His crimson eyes glowed faintly, ancient, unreadable. Before him, nobles discussed war strategies, territory disputes, and executions until the side doors opened and the tiny human girl walked in, apron dragging behind her like a small defeated flag. Every conversation died. Mid-sentence, every immortal froze. Even the flames seemed to hold their breath. She stepped toward the king, her small shoes tapping nervously against polished obsidian. Marble, tap. Tap, tap. She stopped at the base of his elevated throne. Then she bowed, not out of fear, but out of earnest respect, the kind taught by someone who had very little, but still believed in manners. "Your Majesty," she began, gripping her wrinkled apron with both hands. "My mommy, Vivienne Solon. She's the one who washes the silk robes, scrubs the throne room steps, and polishes the mirrors." Her voice trembled. She couldn't get up today. She couldn't breathe. And I knew if she didn't come, someone would yell at her or take her job. So I came instead. Silence, not shock, not mockery. Something deeper, collective disbelief. Alaric remained still, though something flickered behind his emotionless stare. Children did not walk into vampire courts, not alone, not willingly, not alive. Scene 3, the king speaks finally. His voice echoed low, controlled, timeless. "Little one, who allowed you to pass through my wards?" Alara blinked. "What's a ward?" He leaned forward, slightly intrigued. "Magic meant to keep intruders out." Her brows knitted. "Well, maybe they knew I wasn't here to do anything bad. I'm just here to clean." A whisper rippled through the hall. No living human had ever walked through those wards without permission. Not even nobles. Not even trained mages. Yet this small, trembling child had strolled through protected gates as if they were nothing but open air. Alaric studied her face, the soft freckles, the messy blonde hair, the nervous but determined gaze. "How did you get here?" He asked quietly. She shifted her satchel. I walked. You walked, he repeated. Yes, Mommy showed me the safe streets. The ones with no monsters. A vampire noble scoffed. There are no safe streets in Nightreach. Elara glanced up, voice barely above a whisper. There are, if you're careful. Seen for a moment of humanity, a cough escaped her, small, but painful. The king noticed. Her fingers were red. Raw from cold, her shoulder shook beneath the thin coat. This wasn't bravery. This was survival. Child, he murmured softly, more gently than anyone had heard in decades. Have you eaten? She hesitated. Not today. His expression shifted, not visibly, not openly, but deeply. The kind of shift that happens inside a soul, long thought frozen. The room waited, then calmly. Commandingly, he spoke. Clear the dining wing. A steward bowed. At once, Your Majesty, and bring food. Warm bread, soup, and honey tea. Gasps. Honey tea was reserved for royalty, never for humans. But the king wasn't finished. Bring a healer. Another servant froze. 4 for the child. No, the king said coldly. For her mother, scene 5. Instant calm. A noblewoman sneered. Your Majesty? Surely you don't intend to coddle a servant's brat? Every immortal turned, knowing the danger. Alaric slowly lifted his gaze to hers. What did you call her, eh? A. Servants, she never finished. The violet flames flared. The ground trembled. His voice thundered through. Ancient stone, you will not speak of her with disdain. Not in my presence. The noble paled, bowing desperately. I meant no disrespect. You meant every word. Alaric replied coldly. Then he looked at the small girl, who now watched him with wide, startled eyes. From this night forward, the king declared, she is under my protection. Scene SIX. The realization as Elara was escorted toward warmth, food, and safety. The king watched her small form disappear into the hallway of glowing amethyst light. For the first time in a century. He felt something shift in his chest. Recognition. A. Memory long buried. A heartbeat, he thought, forever silenced. Because Elara's eyes, determined and innocent, mirrored. Someone he once knew. Someone he failed. Someone he had. Mourned, someone connected to a prophecy he prayed would never return. A prophecy that began with a child born under a dying moon and a forbidden bloodline. His voice lowered to a whisper only the shadows could hear. Vivian Solon. His crimson eyes darkened. So you survived? Asterisk, the dining hall glowed softly with violet candlelight as Elara sat at a small round table meant for high officials, not children. Steam rose from a bowl of fragrant soup, and a silver cup of honey tea rested beside warm bread and butter. She hesitated before eating, glancing at the nearest servant. Is it okay? She whispered. The servant nodded quickly. His Majesty ordered it for you. It would be disrespectful not to eat. So she lifted the spoon with both hands and tasted the soup. Her eyes, widened, warm, comforting, safe, for the first time in days. Her body relaxed. Not far away, King Alaric stood behind one of the carved pillars, watching her not with suspicion, but with a quiet, unreadable intensity. There was something painfully familiar about her, the shape of her eyes, the way she held herself, even the bravery disguised as shyness. He murmured to the steward beside him, "Send riders to her home. I want her mother found before dawn." "Yes, Your Majesty." And his gaze softened almost imperceptibly. No threat, no force. Treat her with dignity. The steward bowed deeper. "As you command." Flash back a memory, awakens as the servants scattered. Alaric closed his eyes briefly on the world, shifted into memory. A young healer. Gentle smile. Silver blue eyes filled with compassion. Vivian, the woman who once tended to his wounds when he was ambushed in the Northern War. The woman who dared speak to him like a person, not a king. The woman who disappeared without explanation. He remembered her voice. Everyone deserves kindness, even kings. He never forgot. But she vanished. And now? Her daughter sat in his castle. A daughter who walked through ancient wards as if guided. Asterisk. No fear, no hesitation, only purpose. This was not coincidence. This was fate. Back in the present, Ilara finished eating, wiping her mouth with the napkin the way her mother had taught her. A maid approached gently. "Little one, would you like more?" Ilara shook her head. "Thank you. My tummy's warm now." The answer made the maid's voice crack with emotion. Alaric finally stepped forward. Ilara looked up, small chin lifted, just like before. "Did I do everything correctly?" She asked softly. "You did more than anyone expected," he replied. Her cheeks flushed not with fear, but relief. "I don't want mommy to lose her job. She tries so hard." The king lowered himself to speak at her level, a gesture the court had never seen. "Your mother will not lose anything." His voice was quiet, but absolute. "Not while you are under my roof." Ilara nodded slowly, then leaned closer. "May I ask a question?" Alaric blinked. No one asked him questions. "You may." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Why did the castle let me in?" For a moment, even the air went still. Alaric answered truthfully, "Because the castle recognizes those with pure hearts." Ilara's eyes widened, not from pride, but from wonder. "So, it wasn't a mistake?" "No," he said softly. "It was destiny." Closing Beata, distant horns sounded, messengers returning. The king straightened, expression sharpening. "Your mother has been found," he informed her. Ilara gasped. Is she okay?" "We will know very soon," he promised. She took a shaky breath, fists curling in her apron. "Please, save her." Alaric placed a steady hand over hers, not cold, but reassuring. "I intend to." And for the first time in a century, his voice carried more than command. It carried hope. Ilara waited in the quiet hallway outside the king's strategy chamber, her small hands gripping the fabric of her apron. The torches along the walls hummed with violet flame, glowing brighter whenever she grew anxious, almost as if the magic reacted to her heartbeat. Inside, messengers knelt before King Alaric. One spoke carefully. "Your Majesty, we found Vivian Solon in her home. She was unconscious, fevered, and struggling to breathe." Alaric's jaw tightened, and the healer, already tending to her. But the messenger hesitated. "There is something unusual." Alaric's eyes narrowed. "Speak." There were symbols burned into the floorboards, old protection runes. The kind that only trained healers or ancient bloodlines know. A long silence stretched. Ancient bloodlines. Forbidden ones. The messenger lowered his gaze. "Whoever she truly is, she's not an ordinary servant." Outside the chamber, Lara sat quietly. Unaware of the silent storm building behind the doors, she swung her legs off the bench. Humming a soft lullaby her mother always sang, "Where the moonlight falls, you are safe." Halfway through, the flames nearby flickered, almost responding. She blinked. "Hello." A raven perched above her, black feathers reflecting violet shines, tilted its head. "You're pretty," she whispered. The raven cawed softly, but not in warning. Almost in greeting, inside the king's realization, Alaric closed his eyes, remembering the ancient prophecy whispered among the elders. A child born of mortal softness and forbidden blood will pass the gates untouched by magic. She will awaken what the crown has forgotten. He opened his eyes. The prophecy was no longer a myth. It was sitting outside his door. Sipping honey tea minutes ago. The door opens, the chamber doors creaked. Ilara stood. Clutching the edge of her coat, Alaric approached her tall, regal, but softer than before. He knelt slightly, so his gaze met hers. "Your mother is alive," he said gently. Elara exhaled shakily, relief flooding her small frame. "Can I see her?" "Soon," he promised. "But there is something I must understand first." She nodded, waiting. "Those runes in your home. Do you know who taught your mother?" Elara thought carefully. "She told me once. She said someone powerful long ago trusted her with magic, not scary magic. Healing magic." Alaric's heart shifted. Healing magic was rare, forbidden, ancient. He studied her face, searching for signs. Then he noticed something. Her irises, normally hazel, flickered for a brief second with golden shimmer. Not human, not fully. Something awakened in her. "Has anything strange ever happened around you?" he asked softly. Elara hesitated. "One time, when I was scared, the candles at home lit on their own. The torches nearby flared in response." Elara flinched. "I didn't mean to." Alaric gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "You didn't do anything wrong." Her eyes lifted, watery but trusting. "Am I dangerous?" "No," he said firmly. "You are protected, and you are meant to be here." New order. Alaric turned to the guards. "Prepare separate chambers. The child stays within the royal wing." Gasps echoed. No human had ever been granted that privilege. Elara blinked up at him. "Why? Are you being so kind?" His voice lowered, gentle yet ancient. "Because destiny has waited a long time for you." Closing Betaz, Elara walked beside the king. Her steps, tiny yet steady. The castle's enchanted walls glowed faintly, recognizing her presence. Her future was no longer ordinary. She had entered a world of secrets, prophecy, and power. And the immortal king, who once felt nothing, now felt everything. And he knew this child would change everything. Alara's new chamber was unlike anything she had ever seen. Velvet curtains shimmered like moonlit fog. A silver canopy bed glowed faintly with protective enchantments. Crystal lanterns hovered in gentle circles. Responding to her breath, she touched one carefully. It warmed beneath her fingertips, like it recognized her. A soft knock echoed. King Alaric entered, carrying a folded blanket. "You may use this," he said quietly. "It belonged to the royal family." Alara's eyes widened. "But I'm not royal." Alaric paused, something unreadable crossing his expression. "Some destinies are written long before birth." She tilted her head. "Does that mean my mommy is important too?" His voice softened. "Yes, more than you know." A message arrives before Elara could respond. A raven flew through the window and landed on Alaric's arm. It carried a sealed scroll. He unrolled it. His eyes darkened. "She grows weaker," he murmured. Alira's small hands clenched in her blanket. "Please, can I see her? I promise I won't get in anyone's way." He studied her fear, her courage. At last, he nodded. Double quotes, "Yes, you should be with her." The journey through the castle. They walked through corridors carved from obsidian and enchanted stone. Portraits of past vampire kings watched silently, cold, regal, ancient. Yet as Elara passed, something strange happened. Their jeweled eyes glowed faint gold. Alaric noticed the castle wasn't reacting to him. It was reacting to her. Reunion, finally. They entered the healer's chamber. Vivian lay on a bed, pale and trembling, wrapped in runic gauze. Her breath was shallow, her forehead burning. "Mommy." Elara rushed forward, almost tripping in the process. Vivian's eyes fluttered open. "Elara, my sweet girl." Her voice was weak, but filled with love. "Why are you here?" "You shouldn't be. I came because you couldn't," Elara whispered, hugging her arm carefully. "I didn't want us to lose our home." Vivian closed her eyes, tears forming. "You shouldn't have faced this world alone." Alaric stepped forward, his tone gentle yet commanding. "You are safe now. Neither of you will be cast out." Vivian struggled to sit. "I do not deserve protection from a king." "You once saved mine," he replied quietly. Her breath caught. "You remember?" "How could I forget?" Secrets resurfaced. Vivian lowered her gaze. "I broke the ancient rules. I used healing magic meant only for royal lines. I ran because I thought protecting her meant disappearing." Alaric's voice dropped. "And yet, fate brought her here." Vivian hesitated, then whispered, "She isn't just human. She inherited something. Something I hoped would stay dormant." Ilara blinked up at them, confused. "What did I inherit?" Vivian brushed her cheek with trembling fingers. "Power, old magic. The kind the world fears, or worships." Alaric's expression hardened, not in anger, but resolve. She will not face her gift alone. Vivian exhaled shakily. "Will you protect her, even when others rise against her?" He looked at Elaru, small, hopeful, fragile, yet extraordinary. "I already have." Closing beat, Vivian's eyes softened. "Then, maybe. She is where she belongs." Ilara rested her head beside her mother's arm. Alaric stood, watched, silent guardian, ancient ruler, and now bound by a fate he never expected. Outside, the night wind howled. Deep within the castle walls, old magic awakened, as if welcoming its lost heir home. The night deepened around the obsidian citadel. But sleep did not come easily to Ilara. She lay beside her mother, holding Vivian's warm but weak hand, listening to the soft hum of healing runes. The glow from the crystals above cast gentle light, making shadows dance like silent guardians. Suddenly, Vivian stirred. "Ilara, sweetheart." Her voice rasped. "Yes, Mommy," Ilara whispered quickly. Sitting up, Vivian brushed a curl from her daughter's face, her fingers trembling. "You must listen. If anything happens to me," Ilara shook her head fast. "No, nothing's going to happen." Vivian smiled sadly. "You have a good heart. But the world doesn't always listen to kindness." Her voice lowered, cautious. "There are people, vampires, who would fear what you are." Ilara swallowed. "What am I?" Vivian hesitated. "Then a child born from love the world forbade." Footsteps approached before Ilara could ask more. The chamber doors opened. King Alaric entered, cloak trailing behind him like living night. His gaze moved from mother to daughter, sharp but protective. "How is your strength?" he asked Vivian. She exhaled slowly. "Better. Because she is here." He nodded once, then turned to Ilara. "There is something we must test." Ilara blinked. "A test?" "Not for punishment," he assured. For understanding, Vivian squeezed Ilara's hand. The moonlit Alaric led Ilara to a large chamber with high ceilings and silver mirrors lining the walls. Moonlight poured through a domed glass roof, illuminating a sigil carved into the dida. Center of the floor, the air hummed alive with ancient magic. Ilara stepped closer. The sigil glowed faintly. Alaric watched her carefully. "Stand." In the center. She hesitated, then obeyed. The moment her feet touched the sigil, the mirrors flickered with dancing gold light. Wind stirred. Though no window was open, the symbols beneath her feet lit brighter. Then, brighter still. A warmth spread across her chest, not painful, but powerful, like something long asleep finally waking. Elara gasped. "Something's happening." Alaric stepped forward, cloak swirling. "Yes, and you must not fear it." The transformation begins. Golden wisps lifted around her soft like strands of moonlight. The air vibrated with energy, forming shapes, almost like wings. Alara's eyes widened as the glowing wind lifted her hair. I don't know how to stop it. You don't need to, Alaric said calmly. Just breathe. She closed her eyes. Slow inhale, slow exhale. The glowing aura steadied. Alaric's chest tightened not with fear. But she bears the ancient mark, he whispered. Alara. Your power responds to intention. Not control, not anger, only compassion. Her eyes opened, now faintly shining gold. Is that bad? He shook his head slowly. No. It is rare. And extraordinary. A shadow watches just then. A raven screeched sharply, warning. Alaric's expression shifted. Someone nor. Something was near. He stepped in front of Alara. Stay. Behind me, its cold air swept across the hall. A dark mist slithered between pillars. A voice echoed, low and venomous. So, the prophecy child truly exists. Alara froze, clutching Alaric's cloak. Alaric's voice turned sharp and cold. Reveal yourself. The mist gathered, forming a tall figure cloaked in darkness. His eyes gleamed crimson, not like Alaric's warm ember glow, but cruel, predatory. Well, well. The intruder smirked. The king grows soft. Alaric's jaw tightened. You are not welcome in my domain. The stranger chuckled. Oh, I'm not here for you. I'm here for her. Alaric's heart pounded. Alaric moved, shielding her fully, and you will not touch her. Closing beats, the stranger's grin widened. Then prepare. King Alaric. His voice dripped with threat, because forces far older than your throne are already coming. With a swirl of smoke, he vanished. Silence fell. Alara trembled. Who was that? Alaric placed a steady hand on her shoulder. An enemy, he said quietly. One who now knows you exist. His gaze softened, but his resolve hardened, and I will not allow anything to take you. Asterisk, the hall remained silent long after the dark intruder vanished, leaving only the soft hum of runes and Alara's uneven breathing. Alaric knelt, so his eyes met hers. You are safe, he said softly. As long as I breathe, no darkness will touch you. Alara clung to his cloak. But he knew about me. He wants me. Alaric shook his head slowly. He wants power. You are not an object nor a weapon. His voice deepened not with anger, but with ancient promise. You are a child, and you deserve protection, love, and a future. Alara swallowed, tears forming. No one ever said that before. His expression softened. They should have. Mother and daughter reunites. Alaric lifted Alara carefully and carried her back to the healing chamber. Vivian sat up, pale but stronger, runes dimming as her body recovered. The moment she saw Alara safe, she reached out. Alara? Thank the stars. Alara hugged her tightly. I'm okay, Mommy. The king helped me. Vivian looked at Alara hesitant but grateful. You had no obligation. But you protected her. You treated her with dignity. He met her gaze. Your daughter is not here by accident. The castle recognized her. The prophecy moved because of her. Vivian lowered her eyes. I feared this day. I wanted her to live quietly. Hidden. Alara gripped her hand. Mommy. I don't want to be hidden anymore. Vivian froze. Alaric watched silent, patient. Alara took a shaky breath. I was scared when the magic started. But I wasn't alone. I'm not alone now. Vivian brushed her cheek. You're brave. No, Alara whispered. I'm just tired of being afraid. A new identity. Alaric stepped closer. Vivian Solon. Alara Solon. He spoke their names like a vow. As ruler of Nightreach, I grant you sanctuary. You are not servants, you are honored residents of the royal wing." Vivian gasped. "My lord, that is a gift beyond measure." "It is not a gift," he corrected. "It is justice." Ilara smiled through tears. "Does that mean?" "We can stay." Alaric nodded once. "If you wish." The oath Vivian placed her hand over her heart. "Then we accept." "On one condition," Alaric raised a brow. "Name it." Vivian smiled faintly, the same gentle strength he remembered from long ago. "Treat her not as prophecy, not as weapon, but as a child." He bowed his head not in weakness. "But in respect, I swear it." Ilara blinked. "You bowed." He gave a rare, soft smile. To earn respect, one must show it first. A new beginning later that night. Ilara stood beside a window overlooking the glowing city. Alaric joined her quietly. "Do you feel afraid?" She thought for a moment. "A little, but also excited. Like something important is starting." "It is," he replied. She turned toward him. "Will there be bad people?" "Yes." "Will I have to be strong?" "Yes." Ilara nodded firmly. "Then I will learn." Alaric placed a steady hand over hers. "And I will teach you." Closing emotional beat somewhere deep within the castle. Ancient magic pulsed, awakening, shifting. Accepting the world beyond would change. Threats would rise, destiny would unfold. But for now a little girl, once invisible and fearful, now had a home. A mother regained safety, and a king, cold for a century, felt his heart stir again. Ilara leaned against him gently. "Thank you," she whispered. Alaric's voice was low, almost reverent. "No, little one. Thank you for reminding the world what true strength looks like. Not power, not fear, but kindness."